So imagine, I just finished work. I get on the train from Dartford to wherever the fuck I liveville, because I'm not going to tell you where I live. And then suddenly, as I'm scrolling through my Facebook, I see this article from Independent. YouTube to delete thousands of accounts after it banned supremacist, conspiracy theorist, and other harmful users. And this is where I was like, oh boy. So I opened up the article and I went through the first 2 paragraphs on the train and I was like, oh my god, no. So I didn't go to Morley's to get my 10 wings and chips. I went straight home, Ubered it in fact. Yes, I spent £5 on the Uber from the bloody station I got off just to get home as quickly as possible. Yes, this shocked me that much. I went home and I power read through the entire thing. And it truly shocked me. If this is to be true, YouTube has compromised its integrity heavily. The article begins. YouTube will delete thousands of accounts after banning quote-unquote supremacists, conspiracy theorists and other harmful accounts, it is claimed. The decision was made after an in-depth review of its rules on hateful content. I mean, I guess you could say hate is a subjective thing. Who makes the stand for what is hate? Moving on. While it has always banned hate content in general, the site has allowed some specific kinds of harmful videos, such as those promoting Nazi ideology or claiming 9/11 did not happen, to continue being hosted on the site. I mean, the reason they should be kept on the site is for rational individuals to prevail. If someone sees something, it is up to them as an individual to decide whether they want to believe it or not. Most rational people will realise that Nazism is not a good ideology to follow. And also, most people can look into 9/11. There is proof of it, video proof and otherwise. Anyone who follows this, I don't want to insult them, but that's them. That's them and their ignorance. Let them not believe in it, or let them follow that stupid, decrepit ideology called Nazism. But it is their choice as an individual to make, not yours, a bloody platform. Jesus. Those videos, as well as other kinds of quote-unquote supremacist content, will now be officially banned. This goes back to my subjectivity point. Who determines what is supremacist or not? It's all blurred. And it just allows it for certain people to pick and choose what they don't like and do like. So now we're just at the mercy of whoever's in charge of reviewing my video. What about those who have been working their lives off to get their channels to where they are, and then suddenly they get demonetized and then their entire livelihood is fucked? I mean, I'll be fine. I'm just starting off. But anyone that gets on the wrong side of YouTube or any of their advertisers, and that's it. Anyway, in quotes, today we are taking another step into our hate speech policy by specifically prohibiting videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion based on qualities like age, gender, race, caste, religion, sexual orientation, or veteran status, it wrote in a blog post. And I get where they're coming from, but to completely restrict them, that goes against freedom of speech. And I get it. Some speech is just rude, it's just uncalled for, but it's free speech. You have to honour that. And how you combat that is you engage in discourse, rational discourse of these individuals. Treat them as a human at least. And if they still have this ideology in their mind, then so be it. You can't change them. Let them stay by themselves and fester. But to completely oppress them off the platform, that's wrong. How else do you think a lot of these extremists are created nowadays? They don't have anywhere to voice their opinions. And yes, their opinions are wrong, but they don't feel that they can say anything without being oppressed. So they continue to surround themselves only with people who will listen to them, and those people usually have their own narrow-minded ideologies, and they're stuck in that echo chamber, and they're just bouncing the same ideas off, and that becomes fact to them almost. And because there's no one else for them to rationally discourse with on that level, that's the only thought they'll have in their mind. And if that's the only thought they have on their mind, they're gonna believe it. And it's not just the white supremacists or the right-wingers that are doing this. This is a common thing that happens on the left as well. A lot of them are very militant in their ideology and will completely dismiss anyone who combats them. even if those people can consider themselves to be leftist. If a white supremacist wants to call me below him because my ancestors were slaves, then so be it. But words only have the power that they have if you give it that power. I dismissed that power, so it doesn't affect me. When Daryl Davis confronted the Grand Dragon or Grand Wizard of the KKK, he opened up a discourse which shocked the man, and now that very same individual left the Ku Klux Klan and is now a vivid supporter of civil rights. The guy's name is Scott Shepard, and he follows me on Twitter, which is the weirdest thing ever. But for some reason he follows me on Twitter. I followed him back because I heard about him through Daryl Davis's documentary. But this is a prime example of someone having the opportunity to talk to someone about their opinion, and then because they're treated as a human, they then get to rationalize, because they have an irrational discourse with someone else who considers them an equal. They get to rationalize, and then they realize, you know what, maybe my ideology isn't the right one to have. I'm going to adapt it and change it. And the next thing you know, they're rejecting their previous mindset and taking up a new one. That is how you solve this issue of supremacy or bigotry, not by oppressing them, not by subjugating them, but by giving them the opportunity to have their words heard and to have people criticize them so that they can then better themselves. That is how you fix it. How else do you think slavery was abolished? Do you think it just magically happened and Abraham Lincoln clicked his fingers and suddenly the chains were falling off and oh, the Negroes are free? No. People had rational discussions and realized, you know what, maybe it's wrong that we are subjugating people based on their melanin count and calling them slaves. They are humans after all. We can breed with them. They can breed with our woman. Perhaps we should free them and treat them as humans, and here I am today, a descendant of those people. Treat people as equals, regardless of their mindset or opinions. They are opinions after all, not facts. Their opinions can change if you give them the opportunity to change it. Bloody hell. Moving on. Following on from the previous paragraph about the identity politicking and all that. That is expected to lead to the removal of thousands of accounts, which is, I delved into that earlier, as it goes into place, though that could take some time. I mean, are they going to do it manually? Because that's the only way I could see it working. I mean, their algorithms have already been failing in the past. It probably will fail again, let's be honest. We will begin enforcing this update policy today. However, it will take some time for our systems to fully ramp up and will be gradually expanding coverage over the next several months. End quote. Now, I hate to divert away from my point, but you'll understand the reason why. But if you look at this video, you understand that YouTube has other priorities than to continue fucking about with their algorithm. Because their algorithm is flawed already. They don't need to mess it up anymore. They have other pressing matters. Listen to this.
But I have multiple examples of big name brands. We're talking Dodge Ram, Disney in one video, a furniture company in another, where their adverts are appearing on videos where people, users, are time-stamping the girls in compromising positions. One of the other things that I want to point out with these videos is, as you scroll through them, a significant number of them will have, I mean, this is disgusting. You don't wear panty. Look at this. Look at this. How old is this? This is a fucking child. Like, how is YouTube not doing anything about any of this?
So as you can see, I think they have other pressing matters, don't you think? Restricting the freedom of speech of random individuals on the internet is a lot less important than dealing with known pedophiles on the fucking internet. On your bloody platform. If you're going to oppress anyone, maybe oppress the ones that are actually harming people. Fuck's sake. I mean, my teenage sister uses YouTube, and the last thing I want is for her to be exploited like this. And my little cousin. Fucking hell. I'll leave the link to that video in the description. And I'll also highlight it's like 3 months old, but it's still relevant to today. I actually heard about this through another YouTuber called Vegan Gains. He was doing something on this and he ended up talking about that because he's obviously pissed off about the algorithm being messed up by YouTube. So yeah, I'll leave that for you. But moving on. It will also alter its algorithm in an attempt to stop certain kinds of misleading and harmful videos, and your algorithm does not work, YouTube. Full stop. Moving on. Let me skip ahead a paragraph. It also said it would work harder to stop YouTube users promoting harmful content from receiving ad money. Channels that repeatedly brush up against its hate speech policies will be suspended from the company's partner program. Another big red flag. Like, fucking hell, is YouTube the FCC now? This is basically YouTube saying, do what we tell you to do, or we won't pay you your wages. Bye, pussy. The openness of YouTube's platform has helped creativity and access to information thrive. And what you're about to do is going to destroy that. And what do you think will happen once you destroy what made YouTube YouTube? People will find somewhere else to get that from. Full stop, YouTube. If you have to learn the hard way, learn the hard way. We've warned you. It's our responsibility to protect that and prevent our platform from being used to incite hatred, harassment, discrimination, and violence. If someone is trying to incite you to do anything, you, as a rational individual, I hope adult, should have the capacity to decide whether or not it's rational to do that or not. And if you believe it rational to harm someone physically, then you should be locked away. Let's be honest. But most individuals on YouTube aren't like that because, well, let's face it, they're using YouTube, which means they are able to work a job and you know, pay the bills. Chances are that they are rational enough to use YouTube and be able to deal with these people. YouTube, you are a video sharing platform, not my mother 10 years ago. I don't need you to tell me what to do, what to watch, and who to listen to. I can think for myself. Skipping the next quote, the article continues. The change comes on the same day as the company said it would not remove videos in which one of its stars attacked another user over his sexuality, using a series of anti-gay slurs. Strangely, the company now explicitly bans videos that encourage discrimination or segregation based on sexuality, but made no reference to that high-profile case in its blog post, and did not say that it would change its position. And that is because YouTube as a company is trying to build a narrative that makes them look like a moral saint amongst the wolves. Their constant virtual signaling will eventually wear out and people will start to see them for what they really are. I mean, look at EA, for example, the gaming company. With the Battlefield 5, they did their fair share of virtual signaling and they failed miserably. People and companies who virtual signal with wrong intentions, well, eventually people realize that they are false and fake and cannot be trusted. And then, like I said before, they go to alternatives. The rest of this article has the right to talk about the right-wingers calling out YouTube, and this backs up what I said earlier. Think of it this way, the mainstream media is heavily left-leaning, so a lot of people who have any right-wing opinions have to resort to YouTube and other alternatives. Now, I'm not a right-winger. I tend to take the best out of both worlds and put them into my own thing. Some people will label me centrist, egalitarian, whatever. I really don't care for labels. But I'm a firm believer that both sides have valid points to make. We just have to pick the best out of them. But it's hard to do that if one side is being snuffed out of the mainstream media. 50% of my news comes from YouTube. And if YouTube is trying to snuff out anyone that might bring up anything that doesn't align with Silicon Valley, it doesn't bode well for my knowledge and for anyone else's free knowledge. You should be able to say and speak whatever you want, regardless if it's wrong or right. Every other individual who listens to your words should then have to judge you accordingly. Enough said. As soon as I even start considering taking YouTube seriously, this comes out and I'm like, oh. But in fairness, I've had quite a bit of a growth, especially after my Game of Thrones videos, so maybe I should give it a go and just power through it. And besides, I'm not really a target anyway because I've got 95 subscribers or however much I got at the time of recording this video. I think I'll be fine. But will I grow with this new algorithm change? Because all the algorithms are just messing up. If I started YouTube 5 years ago, I would have been perfectly fine. But now, I'm having to struggle through this algorithm. But we'll see. Cheers for your love and support. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.